Show No Mercy was a true success for Slayer, I gotta tell you. Best-selling record on Metal Blade Records for a while there, and actually, whenever you compare the numbers of today, they're still right there within the forefront between that one and this album right here, their second one, Hell Awaits. This is a follow-up that came a couple of years later, 1985, I believe, after releasing Live Undead, which is a live disc, and Haunting the Chapel, both of which we're not going to discuss. We're principally focusing on just the studio albums here, considering we're tackling all of them, with the exception of Show No Mercy, here in one weekend. And this is all, of course, in anticipation for Repentless, which comes out very, very soon. Hell Awaits is an album that is very, very different from Show No Mercy, even though they bear some similar characteristics. Now, the first thing that should be noticed is that this is an album that has 3 fewer tracks on it than Show No Mercy did, but yet boasts a longer runtime. So you have some longer tracks on this album. Now, in information that the band has provided, they mentioned that they had been listening to a lot of Mercyful Fate around the time in which they were first getting on tour and things like that, after the success of Show No Mercy, and also listening to some Venom, and toured with Venom, famous stories about that. And that actually influenced a lot of their recording style that was done for this album, although doing it very much so with the Slayer take to it. And it can be seen from the very opening track with Hell Awaits, with Join Us being essentially reversed throughout the entirety of the introduction before finally being revealed as the 2 words being spoken. And then you don't get any actual lyrics to this track until about the 3-minute mark. And to say that Show No Mercy was a chaotic album is, well, actually kind of true, but this one's actually more chaotic, and it's exposed through Hell Awaits. You can just hear from the way in which Tom is shouting these vocals and trying to get all of the thoughts and ideas out within each breath. He's doing these very rapid fire, and at times it actually makes the song feel a little bit disjointed and makes it feel like it's a little bit imbalanced. And for many cases with many bands, this would be a very bad thing. This would be something that would not work whatsoever, but for some strange reason, with this track and with Slayer, especially on these earlier albums, that kind of thing boasted a lot of charm and actually makes the track sound just as chaotic as it really is supposed to. This whole entire album has a very dark and very sinister, evil, torturous, satanic theme to it, and based around that, there needs to be some element to really, I guess, prove it to people, either that or really set the tone. And whenever you listen to a song like Hell Awaits, with as disheveled as times it seems, it certainly proves that. The soloing tandem of Kerry King and Jeff Hammond on this album are just absolutely out of control. If you thought some of the solos off Show No Mercy, such as Die by the Sword, were insane, you're going to have a lot of that being featured once again prominently on Hell Awaits, and sort of dialing it up a little bit. If there's 2 things that really occur here that are noticeably different from Show No Mercy, is that they have somehow found a way to crank up the speed a little bit further on some of these tracks, but then also based around the Mercyful Fate and Venom that they were listening to, they found a way to structure some songs, and actually there are 3 songs on this disc that boast a longer than 6-minute runtime, with the one that really comes to mind is At Dawn They Sleep, which is just a massive track that is able to boast a lot of different undulation to it. It's able to really take that Mercyful Fate lesson that has been learned probably from albums such as Melissa, in how to create havoc and then create a little bit of a rest and kind of build up a very eerie environment, an eerie feeling, a very unsettling feeling, and then flourish to the finish and absolutely break necks in the process. And that is exactly what that track is able to accomplish. This is an album that contains songs that have literally inspired the next generation of metal fans that we are probably praising to this day. I would not be surprised. I'm wearing a Warbringer shirt. It would be silly to not think that Slayer in some way, shape, or form wasn't some sort of cardinal influence, and that Hell Awaits was definitely an album that they listened to and really enjoyed, considering their own frantic pacing. And that really showcases just how important that these early Slayer discs are, and Hell Awaits is certainly no different within that reign. This is a disc that's sold over 1 million copies. It's crazy how many people have loved this album, and it's very well warranted. For people who have never listened to Slayer before, I'm honestly going to say that between this and Show No Mercy, I would go with Show No Mercy only because I feel that the sort of disheveled nature of some of these tracks would turn some people off, which is kind of a bad thing. But at the same time, once you realize by listening to Show No Mercy, and this is of course assuming it's 1985 and those are the only 2 albums available, if you listen to Show No Mercy, then you understand that chaos reigns in a Slayer album, and then the whole thing comes together very nicely. This is one that sets very, very well. Not only as a Slayer fan, but as a heavy metal fan. You can throw this one on, just throw up your horns, and just thrash your neck until it either breaks off or until you can't take it anymore. Really depends on your age on that one. This is a timeless album. This is certainly a classic. I put it right up there with Show No Mercy. These early albums within Slayer's career are so very important, considering what they have done to shape heavy metal, what they have done to shape thrash metal, as well as other genres of metal in general. Phil Anselmo was a huge, huge fan of this disc, including, and probably more importantly, At Dawn They Wake. Really, this is if there is a debt to be owed, it is paid off thanks to Hell Awaits. Just an absolutely ridiculous album that is timeless. But that's not the album that everybody remembers right away, is it? We need to talk about that one next. And that's what we're going to do. For those of you who haven't seen the Show No Mercy review, which is the start of this discography, if you just started the discography, then omit this message. You can just go on to Rain and Blood. But if you haven't seen the Show No Mercy review, it's because I did it during the 24 hours of coverkillernation, so about 2 months ago. And there's a link that has been up in the left-hand corner for you to check out that has that review. I will probably be wearing different clothing, and I may look a little different. So, yeah. Let's talk about Rain and Blood next. Stay that up. Right there at the end. Stay tuned.